Morning class.
Hi teacher,
Hi,
morning.
Today we will be learning about the charting methods for kinesthetic learners. Now, do you guys know what kinesthetic learners are?
Maybe a student that is hyperactive.
Or maybe the student when studying likes to move around, has to move around.
They maybe needs a lab or hands-on
Some
something like that.
practical work, something like that. Or even likes to that.
Okay, quite close. But the actual the definition for kinesthetic learner is definition of kinesthetic learning. Kinesthetic learning is a learning style in which learning takes place by the students carrying out physical activities rather than listening to a lecture or watching demonstrations. Okay, so now that you guys know what kinesthetic learners are, how about charting method? You guys know about the definition about charting method? What is it about?
Charting method I think is about methods that's how to make a notes and maybe they are using a chart doing a note, making a note.
Maybe they draw a chart to make it more simpler by taking down all the points and then put it into one category. Is that correct?
Okay, not bad. But the real definition of a charting method is definition of charting method. Charting method is a note-taking method that is great for taking down notes that can be broken down into several categories. It is very efficient for topics that have a clear lecture format to summarize the most important concepts. Okay, now I will show you guys the examples of type of charts. Here we have a pie chart that you can plot using Excel. And here you have a table that is good for categorizing stuff. I hope my colleague Mr. Ong has taught you guys how to use Excel.
Oh, Mr. Ong!
Got me?
Always go Starbucks Bojo that one.
Oh yeah,
Okay, and then there's also bar chart, which is almost similar to tables. And you have Venn diagram that is used when there's a relationship between two intersecting.
I seen it before.
Okay, yes. And you have a flow chart, which is the event that shows events from the start to the end, which is good for stuff like history.
Computers application also can use.
Yes.
Not bad, huh?
Okay, so now we will talk about the advantages of charting method for kinesthetic learners. You guys know what are the advantages of using the charting method?
It can help to pull out the most relevant information for the learner, so the learner can be more. It can be much easier to do a revision.
Also, for kinesthetic learner, they don't like things that have a lot of writing, so it reduces the amount of writing necessary, and then it requires a lot more hands-on on the work itself. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. As kinesthetic learners, they like to do more on hands-on, and therefore they need more movement. And when they are doing tables, they are doing more activities that will help them. Other than that, it also provides an easy way for memorization. As compared to a long sentence, it's harder for you to memorize compared to when you put it in a table, where you can see the information right in columns. You will learn more about that in the example question that I will show you guys later.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, now let's talk about the disadvantages of charting method for kinesthetic learners.
In my opinion, I think that charting method is more difficult for the beginner because they have a lot of things to do. They need to learn how to draw a pie chart or even a flow chart. So it's more difficult to them.
Right, and for me, I think for someone who just listen to a lecture, they need to know the overall lecture before taking down the notes. If not, then they will sometimes get wrong when they are taking down the notes. Yeah.
Yes, and also they are too hyperactive, which makes them lose focus quickly. Okay, so let's talk about when do we use this charting method for a kinesthetic learner. Do you guys have any idea?
I think charting method we can use it on the fact. Maybe it's an article that's very long, but inside got a lot of the maybe it's how many percentage the numbers. So we can use pie chart or bar charts to show it.
And I think it's if like an article has a lot of relationship between one subject and another subject, and we can relate it and make it into the bar chart or the pie chart, then it's suitable for charting method. Yeah.
Yes, so basically we use it when there's a lot of words and we like to summarize it in a simpler way for us to read and to get an overview of the whole topic in a simpler way so that we can understand and have a deeper knowledge about what they are learning. Okay, now I want you guys to do a question. Razor, I would like them to do it in a table and Daryl to do it in a pie chart. Okay?
How is the question will be like?
Okay, let me read it out to you.
Okay.
Alright.
Having a definition